Thank you for watching WTAJ's Nittany Nation Rewind. Nittany Nation Rewind is proudly presented by Patterson Automotive.
You're watching Nittany Nation Rewind.
Welcome back to Nittany Nation Rewind. Peter, Penn State had 2 tough losses to start this season.
But the team bounced back. And like any time Ohio State comes to Beaver Stadium, you know the pregame hype was on point.
Penn State was receiving votes in the AP poll heading into its 8th game against Ohio State. The Buckeyes ranked number 9, even though neither of these teams were eligible for the postseason. Newly named Nittanyville was packed.
Just to see all the students come together, supporting the football team.
But Braxton Miller was too much. Ohio State won 35-23 and ended up going undefeated that year, despite no postseason.
We were ready to play, and you know, Ohio State came out. They, ready to play too. So we had to match that, and we just had to execute. That's what it comes down to in big games. You got to execute.
2 weeks later, a trip to corn country. Penn State had a 14-point lead at halftime before the number 18 Huskers stormed back and outscored the Lions 26-3 in the second half. A few wins later, Penn State would be 7-4 with one final game at home.
Senior Day, emotional. The year 2012 unveiled and hanging forever in Beaver Stadium. Penn State welcomed in Wisconsin.
4th and 6, ton of time. And a wide open receiver, James. Touchdown, Penn State.
The Nittany Lions led by 7 late, but Wisconsin tied the game with just 18 seconds to go, sending us to overtime. Kicker Sam Ficking briefly gave the Nittany Lions a 3-point lead. Then came Wisconsin's turn to match.
They got it down. Penn State wins.
I can't even begin to imagine what this feels like.
I think the fastest I ever ran on Beaver Stadium was the second my career ended. Right. Just because when we were all down on a knee, waiting for that Wisconsin kid to kick the ball, and it goes up, and all of a sudden we realize, oh my gosh, like we won. Like just sprinting, everybody, like just jumping in each other's arms. It was like it was a great way to end it. It was almost kind of fitting that we ended it like on our home field. Ended that year there, as opposed to somewhere else.
What a way to go out for those 2012 seniors.
We don't give up, and we never gave up. Throughout the beginning of the season, from last year, from the off-season, to preseason, to throughout the season, when we started off 0-2, no one believed in us. We never gave up. We just kept chopping away, and this was a testament of what we did all year.
Man, that was nuts.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at this whole thing, right? The team finished 8-4, and as you know, they were not allowed to go to a bowl game. They lost their first 2. They rebounded in a big way, and winning that last game in overtime really gave Penn State something to remember. Now, the NCAA sanctions would be lifted down the line, as you know, and the wins would be restored, and the roar was restored with it.
Now, it's been 8 years since those guys suited up for Penn State.
Now, that's just enough time to start adulting. Or not. We're still trying to figure that out. Let's take a look at where are they now. First up, quarterback Matt Mcgloin. Now, Mcgloin's got a great story, from walk-on to starter, and then he made his way to the NFL. He spent 6 years in the NFL. He's a free agent currently after a quick stint in the XFL. He hosts a podcast called The Underrated Hour with Matt Mcgloin back home in Scranton, and he now has a baby boy who is about a year and a half old.
It's exciting. It really is, being able to watch, your son grow up every single day. He's doing new things every single day. He's talking more. He's running around. Like I said, he's keeping me in shape.
Now for fullback Michael Zordich. He started his career at Penn State as a linebacker and finished as a captain. He has spent the last 5 years working on a cattle ranch and is opening up his own meat processing plant and butcher shop, and making me very, very hungry.
He's following his passion. That's an interesting story.
Do what you got to do.
Now for linebacker Michael Moudy, who also has a very interesting story. He had 3 torn ACLs in 2 different knees in his time at Penn State. He finished his career as a first-team All-American and is a fan favorite for his leadership during the 2012 season and leading up to that as well. He's now in the hemp business, marketing CBD products, which he says helped him manage pain from his playing days. How about that? Coming up next, we introduce you to a Penn Stater who traveled the world and made a name from behind the lens.